Alright, so today I decided to pick up Jojo's All-Star Battle Art, and what better way to learn the game than to get the Platinum Trophy for it. And with PSN profiles saying it takes an average of 25 hours, I gave myself the challenge of doing this in under 24 hours or else I'm gonna have to break my back and post a picture of me doing the Polnareff pose. And that may not sound that hard until you realize you have to complete over 100 story missions, complete tournament mode on all difficulties, the fact that I'm actually just trash at all fighting games, and complete over 100 online battles. And with the game in the state this is in, that's a little bit of a challenge. Starting with the tutorial, I have to start by saying I'm really not the biggest fighting game fan. I really do just suck at them, and I think that they're basically just time grinds to learn one character's moveset, but you throw Jojo's on anything and I'm basically all into it. And this game has pretty easy to learn combos and a pretty easy barrier to entry. You have your normal Hadouken type inputs and there's not too many different buttons you need to learn, but the greatest part about this game is the easy beat combo system, to where basically all you have to do is just mash square and you do a pretty simple combo that chains into itself into a special move at the end and does a decent amount of damage, and was basically my bread and butter throughout this playthrough. But we finished the tutorial and we already get the trophies for landing our first easy beat combo, which actually nets us 2 trophies, as well as landing an assist, which starts us off strong with already 3 trophies. And before I jump into the story mode, I decided to warm up a little bit and learn some more about the game in practice mode and learn the fighting system, netting us 2 additional trophies for landing a GHA attack, which is basically like your character's ultra combo type of attack, and also setting off an arena gimmick, which is a cool feature I like about this game, where basically each stage has some sort of gimmick that you can activate that is somehow related to the anime. From here, we head into the story mode, where we're gonna have to grind to get the bulk of our trophies. And man, do I mean you have to grind. You have to play through all 8 parts of Jojo, rest in peace part 9, I don't think you'll ever get a game. But instead of this being like Eyes of Heaven, where you get to have a game original story to follow along, go watch this video here if you would like to see more of that. You instead just play through different fights that occur throughout that part, and you have to complete all of the pages for each of the parts, including all of the hidden missions as well, meaning you have to complete over 100 battles against CPUs. Heading into part 1, we start off by beating up Dio, getting us a trophy for completing the first mission of part 1, and also completing our first secret mission, which are basically hidden missions that you complete throughout each fight. And I was absolutely zooming through these early easy trophies, with the next fight getting That's the Look of a Real Man for completing our first flash cancel, also Sucks to Be You for getting hit by our first arena gimmick, and also the trophy Come Prepared, which is another cool feature of this game, to where if you knock down an opponent and you use an emote, it'll zoom in on your character.
Pizza mozzarella. Pizza mozzarella.
But after this, I just continued to grind through the rest of the pages for part 1, which honestly really are not that hard. Even the final boss battle is just basically a CPU that's just a little bit higher difficulty. But with that, we beat up Dio for practically the 30th time at this point, getting the Phantom Blood trophy for completing all of part 1 pages. And I'm not even gonna lie, at this point, after finishing all of part 1, I was already just getting tired of fighting the same CPUs and just breezing through these easy fights that I just wanted to hit online mode already. But first, I wanted to pick my character. There's all of your normal characters, but they honestly added a lot of characters who I truly would have never thought that they would add to a Jojo fighting game. You have random characters just throughout this series, like Prosciutto and Pechi, and also Ghiaccio, and also people like Yuya Funagami, who was just in a few episodes only of part 4, and then also Wonder of You, which I'm honestly just surprised that they came up with a full moveset from him, but both of those are locked behind DLCs, and I don't got the money to be spending on that after already buying this game.
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
But after a lot of thinking of looking out of all these characters that have a potential to play, I decided to main Dio, because honestly, he just has insane aura. He's just honestly really cool and one of my favorite Jojo villains. But before I hit online mode, I hit a quick versus match just to kind of get a feel for his character so I don't get absolutely bodied online, which, spoiler alert, I definitely got bodied. But anyways, I was actually able to get 2 trophies in this, one for getting our first dramatic finish off of Dio's stage, where basically each stage, if you finish your opponent off in a certain area, it gives another sort of reference to the story. And I also got the trophy, Well, Train Your Arse Off. Yes, Arse, because he's British.
Let us commence forth. British?
But I got that for completing our first versus mission. But after all this training, all this warming up, it was finally time for me to face the real opponent. It's finally time for me to go online.
Round 1.
Now, it was during this moment when I was just getting absolutely bodied that I had a sudden realization. They actually made my first match about someone who's actually so good at the game that they body people so much they have a whole series on making people rage quit the game. But luckily, it wasn't for nothing because we get a trophy for completing our first online match. And our next match, we get another trophy for our first stylish evade. And afterwards, I queued up for a quick ranked match, which luckily that got me another trophy as well. After getting a taste of online, we go back to finish up the story mode missions where I accidentally commit a cardinal sin of Jojo. And I accidentally skip parts going to part 3. Which did give me a trophy, but made me feel so gross that I had to just go back to part 2 because I refuse to be a dirty part skipper. But we grind through part 2, getting a trophy for the first panel and then completing all of the panels. Heading back to part 3, one thing you have to know about me as a Jojo fan is although I think part 3 is really good and I think it's basically the Jojo part, I've always said that I do think it's just a little bit too long. And that is no different for this game. Most parts have either 1 or 2 pages you need to complete, but for some reason, part 3 has 3 whole pages you have to complete. For literally no reason. There's not even that many part 3 characters in the game to warrant you have to face this many battles, but we have to grind through it. But it's at least kind of worth it because we get a trophy for completing the first panel, we get another trophy for completing only 5 panels, and then completing all 3 pages of part 3. And this one really felt like a grind. And luckily along the way, we also got a trophy for completing another 50 secret missions. And just to refresh my mind afterwards, I did hop into a versus mode to get the trophy for completing the dynamic finishes on all of the stages. And I gotta say, some of these are really cool, but some of these dynamic finishes are honestly just kind of lackluster, but it's a cool feature they have either way. One thing I do wish for this game is since Eyes of Heaven has its own original story, I wish this game at least had like some cutscenes of the anime or some visual novel type panels to keep you up to date on what's going on throughout the story, because without it, you can't even really call this a story mode. It's just a CPU grind and honestly made this somewhat hard to get through. But not much else to say for All-Star mode. Honestly, I just threw up like a show on my second monitor and then completed parts 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It honestly was just a grind as I was watching YouTube and anime on my other model, but we get all of the trophies for that, and then we also get the trophy for completing all of All-Star mode. Now with the 100 battle online trophy looming over our heads as our final challenge, we go back to clean up all of the smaller trophies we're missing, with 2 trophies for setting off all of the arena gimmicks on each of the maps, as well as another trophy for getting hit by all of these gimmicks. We then head into versus mode where we have several trophies to get. With the first one, we have to complete 10 matches without losing in endless battle mode, where basically you go through match after match and you only have 1 health bar and you have to just continue winning for 10 times straight. We get through all of the first 9 easily, and on the 10th one, for some reason the CPU difficulty just got turned up, or maybe I'm just absolutely trash, but somehow I actually am about to lose. But I do narrowly edge out a win, and the trophy does not pop, which means I had to defeat 1 more enemy and I actually lose the next match, having to do this all over again. But luckily, the trophy pops at the very end. We then head into tournament mode where we have to complete it on all 5 of the difficulties, levels 1 through 5, each one of them separately, with them having at least 3 battles each, grinding through another 15 matches, but we do get 2 trophies related to that. We only have 3 trophies left to get, and we get 2 of those very easily by taking all the money we've earned so far to head into the item shop and purchase over 500 items from the gallery, getting 2 trophies. Completely worn out at this point, we still have the main trophy to get. We have to complete over 100 online battles. And it's kind of sad because throughout this playthrough, although it's very boring to fight all the CPUs, the main fun I have with this game is playing people online. And I'm not sure if it's maybe just the PS5 servers or if this is just the game in general, but the servers are a little bit dead. There was several times that I'm waiting at least about 5 to sometimes even 10 or more minutes just to find a single match in just the normal quick match section. But when you do play, you play such a wide range of people that actually do make it a lot of fun. You play people like I played before who are just absolutely goated at the game and absolutely bother you, but you do sometimes find some new players and people on your same skill level, which makes really fun and engaging fights. And for such an expansive roster, you get to see people really play all of their different favorite JoJo characters. Most fighting games I feel like have some sort of ranking system and people only play the top ranked characters, but you can tell with a game like this, people just like playing who they like in JoJo. And over time, you develop so much just by playing online. You can just find someone and just continue to rematch them, and over time you get to learn different mix-ups, you get to learn different matchups and how to fight certain characters, and you learn how to chain combos just by playing your character a lot more. And the times that you connect to someone and you see they have hundreds of wins and you get absolutely bodied, in a way, it's still kind of cool because you get to see what top level gaming for this game feels like. You can see the potential you have if you grow as your character. But after hours of fighting, we were at 99 out of 100 matches, and I told myself going into the 100th match that I wanted to make sure that I ended on a win. So we queued into a random match with a random opponent and we set off into this final mission. And at this moment, I realized that even after playing almost 100 matches online in this game, I'm just always going to be trash at fighting games. But then I remembered what someone said. And after winning just one round, I knew that it would be possible, and this may just be a normal match to you, but I wanted to make sure I ended on a win. And this was actually a really good opponent, and maybe it was just the nerves getting to me, but we got to the final sliver of health. And as I'm about to lose, I look in the bottom right corner and I notice that I have a max gauge, and the only way I know I can win is if I can hit him with just one of my ultimate abilities. So I jump in and I hit him with one combo, successfully finishing it off. And we get the trophy for completing our 100th online battle, and we finally get the Platinum Trophy. And it's moments like that that even though I'm not the biggest fan of fighting games, they are just so much fun to play. When you play people online and you have moments like these to where you're evenly matched and you have a really good match to play, it's just something that most games can't replicate. And although this game, like most games, is gonna have a lot of flaws, and sometimes I feel like some of the characters are just kind of cheesy, and sometimes I also feel like they could have added a lot more characters and even just a lot more things to the game, it still is just a really good game to play. And maybe just because I'm biased to Jojo and I obviously like the series so much, but yeah, I really use this Platinum Trophy just as a way to kind of get my introduction into the game, and I'm gonna definitely keep playing it because I want to be one of those top players that can post videos about how I'm making people rage quit in the game. But we were able to finish this Platinum Trophy in only about 22 hours, and although a lot of it was a grind, those online matches were really the highlight of it, and it didn't make it too bad to get through. So I hope you guys were able to enjoy, and if you like Jojo content, I definitely recommend that you subscribe, maybe leave a comment and a like as well, because I'm going to continue to post as I go back between this game and also Eyes of Heaven, and as I just keep making content about the series.